All right, it's 5 o'clock, and before we get started to tonight's committee meetings, I'd just like to say that if there's anybody out there watching, they may notice that some of us are sitting in council chambers. Just an explanation there that Ministerial Order M192 has expired, so that has required council to amend its procedures bylaw so that we can continue to meet virtually, and that will not be ratified till next Tuesday. So for the time being, we have to have, as per our current procedures bylaw, we have to have 3 members of council in council chambers attending this meeting, and so we have 2 councillors in their homes. And once the amended council procedures bylaw, if that gets amended and passed, we'll all be meeting virtually again, at least till December 31st. So with that explanation, I'll turn the chairmanship over to Councillor Vomaka, who will chair the Public Works and Environmental Services Committee meeting tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Day. So I'd like to chair the Public Works and Environmental Services Committee meeting being held today, Tuesday, October the 19th, 2021 at 5 p.m. and being held electronically and in person at council chambers at 939 South Shore Road. So a introduction of any late items. Okay, so seeing none, looking for approval of the agenda. Councillor McGonigal and Councillor Austin. And I guess we'd all be in favor because there was no amendment. Yes, okay. Business arising and any unfinished business is the transit shelter status update. I think it's ongoing, but if you have any more information, Jess?
Not much other than it is ongoing. Ministry of Highways have made some comments on the design. They're not happy with a few items. So BC Transit, myself, and CVRD are meeting this week. We don't know a date yet to go over it and see what we can do to satisfy the Ministry of Transport.
Anyone have any questions for our superintendent? So Jazz, does it have a lot to do with the entrance and the exiting?
That the crosswalk that's right there, they might want us to go into the property a little bit more, give the crosswalk a little bit extra room. We'll be discussing all that this week. So this time CVRD usually comes out, but a member from BC Transit's going to be out this time too.
Great, thank you. So we have no delegations and no representations and no correspondence. So we go on to the Public Works report for September from our superintendent.
So the following report, you've probably had a chance to go through it. The work, some of the work is in progress, some's been completed. The sanitary pump station on Pine Street, we did quite a bit of work on it a couple of weeks ago. We had to install 2 new isolation valves. They're required for us we need to shut those down anytime we need to go into the base of the pump station and do maintenance work. The old one had failed and we could not isolate that pump station anymore. So the valve, that part of the valves are now installed. The Arbutus Avenue sanitary upgrade, we had to retender it again. We had 3 contractors look at it. 2 gave us a quote, and the lowest was recommended. And I believe you guys have gone over that. And it's been awarded to the lowest, and they're hoping to start November 1st on that project. Yeah, the cleaning of culverts and inlets and outlets now that fall's here, the rain's coming. We've been working on all the culvert inlets, make sure they're flowing properly. Street sweeping's been going on as we can. The town, we're going to be re-roofing the visitor center and the covered area. That tender has been awarded to local contractor, which is hoping to start fairly soon as well. King George, yeah, a little bit of paving cleanup still to do whenever the crew finds some time. We've had a number of water leaks and breaks again this past month. Catch basin cleaning and maintenance has been going on. Just again, fall's here. We got to make sure everything is working properly. Just a reminder to residents again, it is fall. We're getting lots of leaves and debris down on the sidewalks, limbs coming down. If they can just help in front of their homes and properties to keep the sidewalks clean, and so we don't have any slips and falls. The recent problem that's come up, and I've talked to conservation a few times, we've got quite a bear problem in town right now. Just a reminder to residents and businesses as well. It's they need to. It's their responsibility to keep the garbage containers in a proper location, closed lids, sealed or locked if they can, so the bears or any animals they can't get at the garbage. And another reminder to all the folks in town: the town only picks up garbage cans that the lids are closed. Extra bags sitting beside them, we do not pick them up. Lids that are open and garbage piled on top, we do not pick up. Especially this time of the year, it's raining, and that garbage getting wet is a lot of extra weight, and we pay by the ton when we deliver that. So if everybody can please work on that and try to keep the garbage cans closed. If you have extra garbage, you can take it to Mead Creek or put a tag on it, and the town will pick it up. But we've got to really work on that. I drove around town last week, and there was lots of garbage cans with the lids open, and we're just going to tag them and not pick them up. And planning for projects, just continuing all the time. We're always planning for the rest of this year, next year. I think that's about it on that one. If anybody's got any questions.
Councillor Sandu.
Thank you. Could we put a notice on our website and our town's Facebook page about garbage cans, that if the lids are open a bit, you know, that they will not be picked up? There's a lot of conversation I've heard in the last couple of weeks on Facebook about this. And I just think if we keep putting the statement out on our website and on our Facebook page, the town's Facebook page, then the message is going to get more clear. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know what people don't understand, that it's a manual garbage truck. Somebody does not get outside and unload your garbage. So I just think if we could properly send a message. So thank you.
Councillor Austin.
Yes, I want to mention too, we've had a lot of raccoons around our area on the Satlam, between Satlam and Comiekan. And actually the other night, somebody was scratching on our sliding doors and they were trying to get in the house. So I got my wooden spoon out and my cap gun, and I yelled and screamed and chased them away. So they're around too, and they love to get in the garbage. So
yeah.
No, they heard you were baking.
I don't know. It was scary. It was dark, and they were looking in the dining room. They were coming in for supper, I think.
And
I've got one more point. When I was speaking to the conservation officer, they also indicated fruit trees. It's important for people to pick the fruit off their trees this time of the year and get them cleaned up. That's what attracts the bears and raccoons lots. The town actually had to remove a couple of apple trees from one of our locations, parks, because of that. It was in the path of children walking to school, conservation officer had to babysit it a number of times because there was bears in it. And he ordered the town to remove the tree, or we were going to get fined.
Yeah, I know all day today I've heard announcements on the radio talking about all the bears that seem to be a lot. I think they said up to 3 times as many as what were here last year in November, so it's quite considerable. If we're going to post on the website about the garbage, the lids being closed, secured, etc., can we also post on it, Joseph, how much the tags cost and that they are available? So that people know that instead of piling them on top of the garbage can, that they can come down and get a tag and put it, I'm assuming, next to their garbage can, and it will be picked up. Would that be possible? You're muted.
Yeah, we've also given homeowners an option to purchase a second receptacle, and that's another way of dealing with it. Because some people have more garbage than each week. I mean, so really every 2 weeks. So that's another option that they can also explore. Yes, but I don't know if we sell any more tax. I think the Director of Finance could answer that.
Ms. Gill?
Yes, the tags are available. They're $4.50 at the office. The problem with tags now is that they have to have a garbage can to put that tag garbage in to be picked up with the automated truck. So those can be purchased from the town, as well as from other businesses that meet the specifications of our garbage truck.
Okay, that's interesting because unless you have a second garbage can that can be lifted with the truck, you would have to come in to either upgrade or to get a second one.
Correct.
So, yeah, so that would be useful information to put on our website to let people know the options. Councillor Sandhu, did you have a question?
So, so just clarification. So if you buy a tag and you have a bag, you actually have to have the town's garbage can, like what we have now, a secondary one to put that bag into with a tag.
Right. Yes.
Okay, okay. I got to think about that. Thank you.
The reasoning behind that is if a person gets out of a truck, that's time consuming also. If there's needles or something in the bag, we don't know. It can puncture through the bag and injure our workers.
Councillor, oh, sorry.
I just want to do a follow-up. So just my question, I guess, was if, so they would have to pay for a secondary garbage can, then they wouldn't need to purchase tags.
Depending, if they put it out every second week, then they will pay an extra garbage fee.
So okay, so each time they put that secondary can out, they have to have a tag.
Correct. Or they can pay for the secondary garbage can for the entire year.
And you can put those prices, whatever the prices are for that too, just so people have, you know, all the information, and if that's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there are quite a few households that that one container is not enough. So that would be good information for them to either get a second one or to upgrade. Councillor McGonigal?
Thank you. And I thought there was an option for a larger garbage receptacle as well,
Alright.
perhaps to mitigate the need for a second one.
Yeah.
If the opportunity for a larger one with the increased costs associated with that, you would not have to get 2 cans and a tag for whatever pickup you chose for each 2 weeks. On another note, I think it's important to note on those apple trees that you mentioned that it was conservation officers that mandated that those be removed. It wasn't the town that just removed them because we thought they were unsightly or whatever. There's been a bunch of angst on social media about those trees being removed, and it was because conservation officers had mandated that, or else we would be fined. So it wasn't just us taking those trees out because we wanted to. We were told by the conservation officers to do that.
Thank you. Mayor Day?
So great discussion going around the room. So I just gonna put out something more clarifying maybe and see if that's acceptable. I don't know if we should be making this complicated that you need to come to the town office and get another can and a ticket. Well, I guess we could have that option, but if there's people, it seems to me that the chatter that I've seen on social media and stuff too is that people can't survive with the one small garbage can. But I don't know if we want to promote creating more waste. But for those, we should just, advertise that one option. If you want more garbage, if you have to have another garbage receptacle, there it is, and here's the cost. And make it a one-step process, because I'm not sure about the tag thing, but that'll be up to staff to figure that out. But I'm just saying, keep it as simple as possible when you make your post.
Anyone else have any more input into that? Okay, so with that, we are going to go back to update on the water treatment plant. Mr. Sand.
Water treatment plant is running well as usual. Other than a few minor adjustments we had to make and a few little items replacement. Other than that, it's working well. We in September we did have an increase in the level of aluminum again, as we have in the past. It's coming from the raw water. It's unknown why we had such a spike this in September. But we've taken some more samples and sent them off for testing. See what if there's more change, or why. We don't know why it spiked the way it did. So
Was it a seasonal thing that we get the spike?
No, it hasn't been this high ever that we've since we've been monitoring. So it could have been a bad sample. It could have been just some extra. Don't know. But we've taken more samples and sent them off for testing. Hopefully we get a good result.
Good, thank you. Someone had their hand up, Councillor McGonigal.
It's nice to see with the significant rainfall we had in the last week that there was no boil water advisories. So the plant is doing the job that it was designed to do.
Yeah.
And the water's okay to drink.
Okay, then no more questions. Gee, we're having more discussion on garbage than we are water. Isn't that something? Years ago, it was the opposite, all about the water. So the water treatment operation performance report. So I guess that's just a report for us to see. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Sandhu?
I think if I may,
Yes.
I think the only issue is the aluminum spike. I think Mr. Sandhu alluded to it earlier, maybe. And he had a good explanation as to why it's higher than usual. And it's probably the low water in the lake.
I thought the water level had increased substantially with the rainfall.
So this is going back. We're doing
This is going back to September.
Yeah, the samples were taken right when we had low lake levels. So that's why we took, as the lake came up, we took some more samples to see if that's causing it. We don't, at this point, we don't know for sure.
Don't know.
Okay, so we haven't got the results back.
No.
Okay. So anyone have any questions for our Public Works? No? Okay, then we will go on to the road and sidewalk capital list. Very interesting. So
yeah, so you can go through the list. The first is just a little bit of a explanation why we want to keep working on the roads and sidewalks and keep things in good shape. And then we come to the list of roads that we took some of the roads that we feel that should get some attention this coming year. I put some links and some budget numbers to it. One mistake I do see on Poplar, the estimated amount says 216,000. That's incorrect. It should, I don't know how I did that, but anyways, it should be about 75,000.
Mayor Day?
I just want to thank you to staff for bringing this report forward, because that's one of the most often asked questions from the public is, especially those with the streets in a little bit more deteriorated situation than others. And this just gives us a way to explain better to folks when they ask the question, why isn't mine next? And why isn't mine first? So it's just good information to have in our fingertips. So thanks a lot.
Councillor McGonigal.
I echo some of those comments. I'm not going to agree with the previous 14 speakers as my counterparts at the CVRD might, but it's the most comprehensive capital project that I have seen in the time that I've been here, and I appreciate that. It certainly will help in budget discussions moving forward and prioritizing. The one question I do have is continuation of smaller projects that had occurred 2 years prior, whether there would be, and I don't see them on here, whether it's East Arbutus or West Arbutus, the continuation of those paving projects would be at a later date, I would assume. I haven't looked totally at all of the numbers, but this certainly will give us a great idea on where to focus for the remainder of our term and hopefully moving forward for the next council to continue with some of these improvements. Thank you.
Councillor Austin.
I too wish to thank Jess for this. It is a comprehensive report, a very good report, and it sure lets us see what's happening or what's going to be able to happen and the cost of everything. And I think it's good for people. I'm hoping people will go on and look at it under our agendas. Was it attached to the agenda? It came separately, I think, did it not?
It's attached to the agenda.
No, okay. So thank you, Mr. Sandhu. Great job.
I got one thing on that. I can't take all the credit for the report. Mr. Fernandez did help me with it.
Okay.
Councillor, do you? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had your hand up.
I did.
Okay.
So, so these are estimates only, like if we're going to 2026, 25, I mean, these are just kind of an estimate price. I mean, the way prices are going, I mean, it could go up and then go down a few years, but these aren't concrete prices.
No,
Yeah,
they're
right.
asphalt prices.
Made out of gold.
Yes, they are estimates, and we don't know what's going to happen in 2026, but I did allow some extra dollars to it. They're not necessarily today's costs, the ones that are in 26 and 25.
Okay, thank you.
And my time at the table, it's been a good learning exercise because like Mayor Day said, a lot of it is grant funding too. And if you don't get the grant funding, you can't afford to do the big projects. And then something may come up on a road that you find out that there's bigger issues underneath with water or sewer, and it'll put another road either higher or lower on the list. So it's always changing. So the list is a good start, and let's just hope that we can afford to continue to get some done. Councillor McGonigal?
I would just hope that we bring this comprehensive list forward when we do start budget discussions for looking at what could be accomplished for 2022.
Yes. Any more comments? So we are going back to. Okay, any new business? There is none. Any notices of motion? I guess seeing none, we will move on to any public relations items. Everything seems to be going real quiet in town. I know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so to, all the ladies out there, remember to book your appointments. And anyone else have anything to add? Councillor Sandu?
I noticed that Christmas lights are starting to get put up. So I just had to put that out there that who wants Christmas?
Amazingly, quite a few people in town are already thinking about it. So question period, we will pause for 3 minutes. And residents can phone in at 250-749-6681 or email your questions to general@lakecowichan.ca. And the items that your questions pertain to items that are on the agenda tonight. So we will come back at 5:29. We did miss one too. It's Small Business Week. I heard that on the radio today. So I know that since the passport for vaccines has come out, some of the restaurants have found that they're struggling a little bit. So if you have the opportunity to support some of them, then it would be a good thing to do. So with that, 5:29, we'll continue on. Joseph, were there any questions?
No emails or no telephone calls.
Okay. And so then we will be looking for number 11, which is adjournment. Councillor Austin, seconded by Mayor Day, and everyone in favor. And so we'll wait 10 minutes for Public Works. Councillor Austin? Yes, so we'll return at 5:40, please. Thank you.